back when she only dreamt of becoming House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi promised that if voters awarded her the gavel in the 2006 elections, she would, quote, drain the swamp of Washington and swiftly put an end to the, quote, culture of corruption. Well, the San Francisco Speaker had a chance to do just that because Republican Congressman Jeff Flake is sponsoring a bill that would launch an ethics probe into suspicious ties between key Democrats, most notably John Murtha and the PMA group. Now, that's a lobbying group that is now defunct. Now, Mr. Murtha and others secured enormous earmarks for PMA and then received similarly enormous campaign contributions from the group. But apparently none of this smells bad to the San Francisco Speaker because the Hill newspaper reports that she is pressuring fellow Democrats to oppose the ethics probe. And two House Democrats, Representatives Ron Kind of Wisconsin and Tim Walz of Minnesota, are already wavering in their support for the measure. I don't know, it sounds like the creatures in that swamp are alive and well. After President Obama decided to release top-secret memos on interrogation techniques that are used by the CIA, I guess he decided he'd better take his apology tour straight to Langley. Now, earlier this week, he visited with the agency's employees and attempted to tell his side of the story. And tonight, he gets our liberal translation treatment.
You're on the front lines against unconventional challenges. You help us understand the world as it is. You support the work of our troops and our diplomats and law enforcement officers. You disrupt terrorist plots, and you're critical to our efforts to destroy terrorist networks. You serve capably, courageously, and from here in Virginia to dangerous outposts around the globe, you make enormous sacrifices on our behalf.
Now, Mr. President, I'm surprised you even found time to meet with the great men and women of the CIA. You know what? You've been so busy lately cozying up to the Castros and your new friend, Hugo Chavez. Now, in early April, the Iowa Supreme Court legalized same-sex marriages, making Iowa the third state in the country to do that. Now, the state's Department of Public Health is paving the way for those same-sex marriages by changing its marriage application forms. Now, until now, those forms ask for the name of the bride and the groom. Well, according to the department, the court ruling, quote, requires the department to amend the forms so that all couples can have access to the institution of marriage on terms which accurately identified and record their marital relationship. Now, the Des Moines Register reports that the forms that once read bride and groom now ask for the names of Party A and Party B, and then allow each party to check a box that allows each party to choose bride, groom, or plain old spouse. That's progressive. You decide. And the current state of the economy is having an adverse effect on a lot of people's wallets. Well, it's also taken its toll on the eating habits of millions of Americans. And our elected representatives in Washington, well, they say they're not immune to this phenomenon either. Well, take it from Barney Frank.
I wish we didn't have the 5-minute rule, and I wish we didn't have so many members. And I wish I could lose weight without dieting.
But Mr. Frank isn't alone. Politico.com reports that many members of Congress have been looking to save money during these tough economic times, and their eating habits have now suffered. Now, several of them say that they have tried to be more thrifty at lunchtime by eating at fast food restaurants or in the cafeteria. And speaking of the cafeteria, Politico also reports that all of the lawmakers that they interviewed for their story said, quote, their biggest temptation is the cafeteria pie. Apple is the problem for Senators DeMint and Senator Daniel Akaka. Blueberry is the temptation for Senator John Cornyn. Wow. Tough times up there on Capitol Hill. You know, members of Congress didn't exactly show restraint when it came to spending your money, so I doubt they'll be able to hold themselves back at that dessert tray. And that is the news tonight from Hannity's America. Let not your heart be troubled. The great, 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 great American